If your Amazon KDP book isn't selling, don't assume it's the book itself. In most cases, the issue is a few important details in your listing. In today's video, I'll show you what those are and how to improve them so you can get more visibility, more sales, and higher royalties with Amazon KDP. All right, so let's get right into this video. And just quickly, in case you're new to the channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books on Amazon between our different accounts. We also have a free Facebook group with 230,000 authors, and we have helped over 300,000 authors with our Self-Publishing Titans tools. So just a bit about us, and let's get right into the first book. So this book was submitted by one of our community members. If you want to submit your own book, you can also go to selfpublishingtitans.com/review and submit your listing, and we'll gladly get to it. We are doing these videos every single day to help as many of you as possible, as fast as possible. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe. All right, so today's books, we have quite some issues because two of them that we're going to look at have never made a single sale. So there's obviously things that are wrong and that we have to improve, and let's try to find all the mistakes so we can get these guys a win. So obviously these books have no sales, so let's take a look. So looking at the cover, we can already see some mistakes. So this is a prayer journal. Here we can already see some mistakes looking at the cover. So the crosses are cut off, and that doesn't really have a good look to it. It doesn't feel so nice. And then looking at that red line, that also really doesn't add any niceness to the cover. And then looking at the text, it looks very flat on the cover. It doesn't really have any dimensions to it. And the spacing is also off. So if you look at the left side here, you can see that there's more space, and it's even more noticeable with the blue text here. So there's much more space here than here. So it just looks a little bit unprofessional and not really something that you would want to use as a prayer journal. So I think right here is already the main problem, because obviously when someone is searching on Amazon for a prayer journal, then the image is the first thing they will see on all the search results. And if that doesn't look nice, they will not want to even click on it, which is the biggest step that we need to accomplish. So if no one's clicking on it, no one's buying on it. So the first big thing is always getting clicks. And then once people clicked on your listing, now the listing that you have with your cover, the title, the description, your A+ content, that's all there to convince them to actually buy it. So let's look at the title here. So Prayer Journal for Men. I mean, we can look at Titans Pro. So here we're using the Self-Publishing Titans Chrome extension. In case you're new here and you don't know about this, you can go to the Chrome store and type in Self-Publishing Titans. And this is our brand new Chrome extension that we're using now. In the past, we've had these two. And this is an all-in-one extension with everything combined. And then also our Titans AI and all future updates are coming on this one. So you can see here that Prayer Journal for Men is actually a decent niche. So there's good search volume for it, not too much competition, and the demand score is good. And the opportunity score is also good. So you did a good job on choosing this niche. So the rest of the title is Continuing the Work of Jesus. So Prayer Journal for Men, Continuing the Work of Jesus. So I don't really like the continuing the work for Jesus. It doesn't really, for me personally, go well with this. Like, it just doesn't look like a continued clean title for me. So I think the main title could just be the Prayer Journal for Men. I think that as the main title is good enough. And then here, Prayer Journal Notebook for Man. So that's a grammar mistake. So that's also one of the reasons you're not making any sales, because if you see that, it doesn't really make you want to buy it. To practice gratitude and strengthen your faith. So that sounds fine. I mean, to practice gratitude, I don't know if I like that the most, but I like the strengthen your faith. I like that part. And then so you have men and men. So you're obviously just trying to target singular and plural, but in this case, it doesn't look good and doesn't make sense. And then you have the word journal in here twice. So it's just a bit repetitive. Yeah, notebook could be fine. So prayer, I mean, you already have prayer as well. So maybe it's just Prayer Journal for Men, and then notebook to practice gratitude and strengthen your faith, something like that. I mean, probably could be polished and made even better, but I think that would just be a good improvement. So looking at your price, we have $9.49, maybe slightly high for a simple journal book. So you could try lowering that. Looking at your description, so this looks AI written. I'm probably correct on that. I like how long it is, so that's totally fine. But at the top, you want to have like one sentence a one-liner and then go straight into your bullet points. So I want you to have 5 bullet points there right at the top, so a potential buyer can see exactly what the book is about without reading the full description. So the idea here is that the 5 bullet points create enough interest, and if they like what they read so far, then they can finish reading the description. But ideally, once they check the 5 bullet points, they can already just click the Buy Now button. That's kind of the idea here. Okay, so you have A+ content, so good job for having A+ content. That's the good news, but the bad news is that I don't think this A+ content really looks that nice. So it's just a little bit too flat. I'm not a fan of the colored outline of this text here. I don't really like the colors in general, the font and the background. And then once again, the cover just looks kind of flat, especially on this image. So I would just try to improve that. If you're using Canva, which you probably are, look for some templates for design stuff and then maybe just use that. That'll probably make it nicer. I do like how much effort you put into this A+ content, so that's good. Amazon KDP is all about putting in the effort and putting in the work, and then it just comes down to doing it correctly and then continuing to do it correctly with more and more books. So good job for having good A+ content. You also have 1 review, so that's great. Good job on getting that. I guess you have an advanced reader copy system in place, so that's good. If you want to get more reviews, you can also go to our website and click on Arc Reviews to help you get even more reviews faster. But the main thing to fix here is the cover and the title, and then I think you would have had much better success. So try doing that with a new book. You could even unpublish this book and then just use a new author name and republish the same book, but fixed. So that would be my advice for you. I hope that helps. So let's go on to the next book. So here we can also see, unfortunately, this book has never made a single sale. So that's obviously not very nice. So let's see what we can do to help you. So the title is Be the Teen Mom Loves, a life skills workbook for teens to improve communication, build respect, and drive moms less crazy. So Be the Teen Mom Loves. For me, that doesn't sound right. I mean, English is not my first language. I was born in Germany, but so I would rephrase the title to make it make more sense. And then, so a life skills workbook. So that niche sounds quite good. For teens, that's also fine. But to improve communication, build respect, and drive moms less crazy. My question here is honestly, like, what teenager would be going to Amazon looking for a book on how to drive their mom less crazy? So that's something I'm not really tracking with here. So I'm just wondering about the buying intent, like how many people are actually looking for this kind of book. So a slight guess would be that there's not many teenagers looking to find a book on how to drive their mom less crazy. I like the life skills workbook for teens, but I would just do more research on Amazon, maybe even with AI, to see what kind of skills workbook teenagers might be interested in, and then trying this again with that niche. Yeah, so I think that would be one big thing here. Looking at the cover, it's slightly plain, but I'm not too against it. I like that you have some shadows on the text here, makes it stand out a little bit more. I like to have some hearts there, that looks nice. Yeah, I mean, maybe this text is a little bit too much. Maybe it would look better without that, maybe having more hearts around it or something like that, or even just blank. And then the author name, maybe just have that a different color, or just maybe try making that a yellow and then just at the bottom here to see if that looks better or not, or a different color. I would just test out a few covers to see if any color might look better, and if not, that's totally fine. Looking at your description, you have a lot of bullet points. So you have 3 down here and then maybe 7 or 8 up here. So that's good, but it's almost like too many bullet points. So bullet points meant to be just few and kind of concise, and just the most important parts of that book. So I would see if you can combine them into just 5 of them, and if you can't, just delete some, and then just move them higher up so you have the bullet points right below this line here. And then you can also add a call to action for someone to buy your book. Okay, so let's look at your A+ content. Okay, so you have no A+ content, so that's not good. And you did publish this in June. So if you did have A+ content, it should be live by now. So I highly encourage you to have A+ content. And for a workbook, what I would do is show the interior pages. So a potential buyer can see what the pages look like, what kind of content it is, so they know exactly what they're expecting. And then obviously you also have no reviews. So like I said before in the last book review, you definitely want to have reviews. And if you want, you can use our service for that to get readers and eyeballs onto your book. Yeah, so I hope that is useful information for you, and let's go on to the next one. All right, so here we have a wild animals coloring book. So we can see this has a bestseller rank, so it's likely at least sold one copy. So that's something. Obviously, there's also no reviews and no current sales happening really. So that's the downside. I like the background of the cover, so that's quite nice. I don't like how the wild animals text is placed. It's off center and doesn't really look nice. So I would work on improving the placement of that. The way you place the coloring book here, that's fine. You could also, in smaller text, if it fits, add the author name or the brand name. Just make it look a little bit more official, but if not, that's fine. But for sure, you want to fix the text at the top. And then the title sounds fine, Wild Animals Coloring Book, but you might want to niche down even more than just Animals Coloring Book. And then you totally missed out on the subtitle. So the subtitle is really, really great and important for keywords, especially for low and medium content books. So for a coloring book, you could have added in the type of animals that you have, how many coloring pages it has, and other potential keywords. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you missed out on a lot of keywords. Right now you basically just have one. So I think that's one of the reasons you're not really making sales. And then just the cover itself. I think the cover image looks great, but that's a bit off-putting seeing the text just off-center. It just looks a bit odd. So definitely fix that. Good job on having bullet points here. You have 4, so I like having 5, so I would just recommend you add 1 more. And then once again, it's good to have the bullet points just at the top, so you can add it right below this line, just so user can easily see that. Also, we don't want the user to have to click on read more to see the bullet points. So that's one of the main reasons I also like having it at the top. All right, so let's look at your A+ content. Okay, so you also have no A+ content, so that's something you definitely want to fix. Good job for having a profile picture here, but there's also a missed opportunity here with no text about your brand. So that's something you also want to fix. Good job on having some images here. That's very important for coloring books and other medium content books, so a user can see what it's like. All right, so that concludes today's video. I'm doing these videos every single day, literally. You can see it on this YouTube channel. This is a new channel that I have dedicated to helping our author community. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe and feel free to leave a like on the video and comments. Those are always encouraging for us. And yeah, I'll see you next video. Bye.